of course, we got to get into some Pinkman talk.
Oh, good.
Yes. Yeah. Because Kevin explaining that Chad is dumb and does dumb things is one of my favorite things that Kevin could possibly talk about.
Chad's Pinkman. So if you watch the show, Pinkman did a lot of shit that didn't make sense. It made sense to Pinkman, but it didn't make sense to the viewer. So it's almost like Howard Stern with Artie Lang. Like, he knew Artie Lang was a fuck up, but it was probably good for the show.
So this is Monday. This is before it came out that Chad's a lying liar. So they're still working with this same narrative that Chad got jumped by Cumia fans who were actually steel toe guys, the steel toe hired. Don't even ask. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but they had this whole narrative that the main sponsor of Steel Toe, the guy who owns this restaurant or something out there in Minnesota, he was in Florida that weekend, or that time that Chad got jumped, that Tuesday night last week. And so then they're saying like, oh, well, this guy's probably behind it. So they're accusing Steel Toe's like main sponsor of being behind this violent act, which is insane. And at the same time, you got Dummy Zumock calling everyone else a fucking liar.
And Donovan, I 100% got punched. Let me address this morning guy in Cleveland. The guy's a liar. He lies about everything. How
long has he been on the air?
Forever. He's been in
the
Cleveland
same
forever.
Station?
No, he jumped around. He went to Chicago for a minute, and he got fired from there. But
he's like one of those man cow guys that
you guys are so dumb. Yeah, exactly. If you guys are hanging your head on that guy, then you're dumb. You're stupid. The guy's lied about everything, his relationship with his co-host, his kid, everything. So he wanted to jump in on this. He saw the heat. He wanted a piece of it. That's all it was. He's a clown.
Yeah. Rover from Rover's Morning Glory, that's in, I think, like a dozen markets, was just like, I got to get some of this Chad Zumock heat right now. How's the ratings book looking? Not great, boss. Chad Zumock, let's go.
I'm not getting left in the dust.
Yeah. It took me 4 months to make Chad Zumock interesting. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy fallback. This is the stuttering John.
No.
But everyone's a liar, according to Chad. I love that. I love when someone who's a compulsive liar, who's been caught lying numerous times, infinity times. It's how many times Chad is, and that's not exaggeration. That's the exact number. And this guy's calling everyone else a fucking liar. And this is great because this is Chad lying about this incident that he claims that he filed a police report and he went to the hospital. You guys know the story, right? I don't have to rehash this.
Police report is available on the Tampa PD site. There you go. Let's see. Pop it up, Adam.
They said it's not available.
It says
somebody else sent me an email saying it wasn't available.
It's an ongoing investigation, you dummies.
But don't they have a record of it?
I think, somebody saw something.
Somebody saw something. I think it's out there, right?
Yeah, all those people in the hospital.
What does an ongoing investigation have to do with anything? Did you file a report or not? You didn't. You're lying.
Chad, you kind of trailed off at the end there. Do you want to answer the question?
I think somebody saw something. That's good. He does. I've noticed now that he likes to change the subject whenever possible. If there's any super chat up on the screen and people are saying shit that, it's going to paint Chad in a bad light, he'll just start reading the super chat or just try to change the subject. Hey, Bob, you look old. Just say whatever the fuck he could say to get people off of him. He's not sly about it. He's not good at it. This was a fun super chat that came in from a guy named Chad Zumock.
Chad Zumock. The problem with being stupid is that I'm too dumb to realize what a moron I am. I've said it for years. Not about Chad, but like dumb people, they're too dumb to realize they're dumb. So it's a problem. Like smart people are aware that like they're smart, but there's other people that are smarter, and so they know where they fit in. Dumb people are just too dumb to realize. And there's actually like a science. I forget what it's called, but I brought it up another time. And there's actually like it has like a name attached to it where dumb people are so dumb they don't know they're dumb.
Yes, the Dunning-Kruger effect, and this explains Chad perfectly, because Chad makes up these stories that are so over the top and stupid, and you go, well, why would you think anyone would believe that? Especially when you can look up, is there a police report? Yeah. Did the hospital give you a bracelet?
Were you offered $10,000?
Right. These things are just so fucking obvious. And these dumb people think like, I'd be fooled by this. Maybe I can fool others. You can't. You're dumb. You're too dumb. He doesn't learn. He doesn't learn from it. So there's this guy, Patrick Melton, and he hosts a show called Nobody Likes Onions. I guess it's been around since 2005. I had never heard of this before. But he was on Misery Loves Company last week. I guess he's buddies with Chad. They lived in Tampa together for a little while. He decided to take it upon himself. Remember, this is Chad's friend. God, I'd hate to have enemies if I was Chad. His friend decided to hire a PI to look into all of these claims that Chad made. Somebody in Tampa who's going around, that he knows police officers there. He's asking police officers about reports. They were checking out Chad's house and the neighborhood and seeing if they could find any evidence. They had a behavioralist analyzing Chad's body language to try to figure out if he was lying or not.
Nobody's ever cared this much about Chad.
It's insane. But Chad made up this crazy fucking story of getting jumped and almost killed. He thought he was going to die. Like, he went a little over the top with it. So everyone's like, well, I got to look into this. This sounds like horse shit. Yeah. You know, and Rover's calling him out and everyone's calling him out. So then this guy, Patrick Melton, does a 6-hour-long live stream on Monday night. And he breaks down for 40, 45 minutes all the reasons why he's sure Chad is lying. And he really gives a very good assessment with all the information that he's found and he's gathered. And like I said, Chad's friends with this guy. So Chad, who actually did go to the hospital Monday of this week because he was having headaches and stuff. So he's in the hospital listening to all of this going, shit, I'm getting exposed, and decides he better call in. Did you hear any of this yet, Brandon?
I've heard Cardiff cover a little bit of it, but
Yes.
not a lot.
Yeah, Cardiff actually had a video out. It was funny to see Anthony Cumia's show. Anthony's watching Cardiff's show to get to the bottom of all this information. That fucking potato, man.
He's on it.
He's unbelievable. So this is Chad calling in to Melton's show.
Chad, we'd love to know. We'd love to know the answers. Come clean. It was really good. You got everybody.
I gotta be honest with you, and you can have your guys do the research because they'll find it. Obviously, I just left the hospital right now. I went to the hospital.
Yeah, I
My
know.
head's been hurting really bad.
Today you said you were going to go to the hospital and get a bracelet.
No, legit. You could go have your guy look it up. I'll give you the location.
I don't
time,
care. I don't actually care. You know this, right?
Yeah. No, but I felt like I needed to get it looked at because it was hurting and it feels weird and it's a whole thing.
Okay, but you didn't go. But you didn't go before.
No.
We got him. Confirmed.
It was the perfect storm, and if I tell you the real story, it'll make sense to you.
Okay. Yeah, save it for MLC. Save it for your shit. You'll get blown up if you tell the real deal.
So Chad now has no choice but to admit that he was lying because there's people snooping around. It's very obvious he didn't go to the hospital. He didn't file a police report. So now he has to go, all right, you got me. But I have a very good reason for doing what I did.
Well, at least it's justified.
Yes, of course. It's always justified. Now, if you remember when he was on Misery Loves Company that day, so this was last week, Tuesday, the way he ended the show was, oh shit, I just got a DM on Instagram. They sent me a photo of the front of my apartment complex. He says house, but and they said, don't mess around or something like that. So Chad ends abruptly and he's like, I got to call the cops. I'm freaking out over here. And then, of course, the next time we see Chad, 4 a.m. from his apartment with the big shiner. And so this whole thing was like this elaborate, whoa, they threatened me and then they got me and they said, don't fuck with Cumia and they beat me up real good. And apparently that was all a lie.
Okay. This is what I'll say on your show. And
Okay.
tomorrow on our show, I'll tell the whole story.
Yeah, all right.
No, you.
Here's the truth. I did get punched.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yes, there was an altercation. It did involve Cumia in the sense the guy said I suck on Cumia when I go on, and that's when I got mouthy.
Right. Is this at a bar?
It was leaving a bar, but I was getting to-go food. I wasn't drinking.
What? If you're going to create a new lie, like make it believable. What do you mean you were at a bar but you weren't drinking and you got into a bar fight? So according to Chad, let's think about this logic because he did this live stream to Instagram, walking around his neighborhood like he always does. Says it's 11:30 at night, and then says next thing you know he gets jumped and these guys beat him up. Now the news story is, okay, I was at a bar, but I wasn't drinking. I was just ordering food to go at 11:30 at night on a Tuesday. Okay, he's just ordering food to go, and a guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey, you're not very funny on Anthony Cumia's show. I'm going to tune you up now," which is what always happens to comedians. I had a bad appearance. I get beat up really hard the next day. Fuck.
So Chad says, "I'm sorry you feel that way. Please let me go.
Yeah, listen, I'm not for everyone.
Leave my sandwich alone."
No. No, of course not.
I much doubt that Chad's getting noticed in the wild. Like that part alone is I call bullshit on it.
Of course.
I got a theory on this, Carl, if I may.
Yeah, please.
Based on all the information that we've been given and the fact that this guy is a notorious liar.
Yes.
You can't believe any story that he comes up with. So
Correct.
he's never, even when he says, "I'm going to go on my show and tell you the real thing," you're never going to hear the real story.
Of course not.
Now, what I think happened is, and I think he's too chicken shit to admit it, but I think he actually asked one of his friends to punch him in the face.
Okay.
And because now the way that he set it up by ending the Misery Loves Company episode and then the Instagram live and everything, and then he immediately jumps up or on live and he's all beaten up and shit. He creates this narrative that people are stalking him and they're going to terrorize him and all of this shit.
Right.
But for two people to beat him up, he's only got one eye that's damaged. And granted, it looks pretty bad. It looks like it hurts. Don't get me wrong. But there's no bloody lip. There's no marks on the nose. Like if you got the shit kicked out of you, you would know it. Like people would know. And his glasses, he wears glasses. So when he said that he puts them on and he pops the lens out so that he could read super chats.
Right.
But if you got punched in the face that hard, your glasses would get broken. I have a 3-year-old who broke my frames last week just by pulling them apart. It's not hard to do. If you get hit hard enough, they're going to break.
Now, I will say that Chad just recently got glasses. They're reading glasses.
Okay.
So it's not like he would necessarily be wearing them when he's at a bar or walking around the neighborhood.
Okay. Cool.
But let's just remember, everybody, because as we're going to go through Chad admitting that he's lying, this is going back to the video where he came out and was lying to everybody about this. He was trying to be very convincing. I just want to remind everyone.
But to Brandon's theory, I just want to say
I'm walking.
That would require a friend.
Well, finding someone who wants to hit you doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a friend.
Right, yeah.
You could have been at that bar.
There's probably a crowd volunteering.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He just walked up to his neighbor and said, "Hey, punch me in the face." And without hesitation, the guy just
Yeah, he would never finish that sentence.
Chad has addressed that theory directly and said, "I don't like getting hit. I don't like getting hurt. I didn't hire people to hit me, but who knows?" To your point, you can't believe anything he says. So he has lost all credibility. So it's who knows? I certainly, one thing I know for sure is that the new second story is also fake. That's one thing I know for sure. It doesn't even fucking make sense. But all right, let's just remind everyone what Chad was saying after this, getting jumped by these Cumia fans.
Listening to a shitty podcast. Then all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, I get fucking hit from behind. And they just start kicking and punching and punching and kicking. 2 dudes.
That's why I wanted to play this right now, to your point, Brandon. He's got one black eye, and 2 dudes were kicking and punching and punching and kicking.
One of them shaved half my mustache off.
None of it makes any fucking sense.
Yeah. They threw dirt on my arms.
And I'm just everything's just racing through my mind right now. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Trying to make up a lie.
Right.
And I heard one guy say, "Don't fuck with Cumia." Swear to God. Hand to God. Hand to my mother. Hand to everything. Don't.
This is what makes him such a piece of shit. That right there. Yeah. So he's lying, and it sounds like a lie. So immediately his logic kicks in and goes, "I better fucking say, swear to God, swear
I
to my
better
mother."
bring God and my mom in here.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what's so annoying about Chad, because he pretends he's above all of this and that he does a real show and this is the only real show and everyone else is just a phony. This is the kind of shit he was saying when he was lying on this video.
And if you guys think this is some pro wrestling shit, this is real life shit. I don't do steel toe. No, I don't do this shit.
I just want you to remember that because later on when he's explaining himself, he talks about how it's pro wrestling, guys. Well, of course I'm going to make up stories. That's part of the fun of all of this. So he's just the worst. Let's go back to Patrick Melton and Chad confessing. This is him talking about the DM that he received that spooked him when he was on MLC.
And I also say this, Patrick, I did get a DM outside your house where I embellished it because I was performing on the show.
Yeah.
There was a photo of my car in an apartment, which there wasn't. But I get messages like that all the time.
Right.
All right, so now Chad's saying there was a DM, but the DM didn't actually have a photo of my house. And so he shows the DM on one of these shows. I saw him put up to the camera. It was from 9:45 a.m. So it wouldn't have happened while he was on MLC.
Yeah, right.
Even when he's trying to prove that he's not lying, he's lying.
And with this, go ahead,
You
man.
have no idea whose number that is or anything like that. So when he shows you this message, that could just, I know he doesn't have friends, but let's say for sake of argument, he does. That could just be someone saying, "Hey, I'm here at your house." Like there's no menacing tone to that or anything. It doesn't. None of this makes sense.
And do I think that people do threaten to beat up Chad? Yes, I think all the time.
I think there might be more after this.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Not that anybody should be beating up anyone over podcasting.
Correct.
But I do believe that one part of it, that Chad has been punched in the eye a few times and people want to beat him up. I believe that to be true. So now, you guys just watched that video I just played where he was very serious and he's like, hand to God, this is my real wife. He mentioned he thought he was going to die. This was a very serious thing. But now he's spinning it.
So I saw a perfect way to tie all this together. I thought it would be hilarious. And that's what it was. This is because I got that message earlier, and I overplayed it for the show. I really wasn't scared. I just thought it would be a good way to tune in tomorrow. What happened?
What a piece
That's
of shit.
what, that's what my behaviorist picked up on. She said there was overacting.
Why is that funny? What's hilarious about that?
Well,
What's he talking about?
we know that he doesn't understand humor. So.
No, but this is what he keeps saying. He's like, yeah, but this was a funny bit. This was a hilarious bit. Yeah. No one was having fun with that. No one thought it was funny or hilarious. Not even you. You were the most serious about it out of everyone.
If there were two guys, they may have been having fun with it.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Right. Those fake guys who beat you up had a blast. Other than that, there was no hilarity to be found.
Lay off Cumia, make fun of Stunt Joe.
The only time anyone's having any fun with this is when it blew up in his face. That's the only time. Nothing about it otherwise is funny.
Yeah, of course, which we'll get into. So this still leads the question, if he just went to a bar and some guy didn't like him because he saw him on Cumia and he wasn't as funny as the guy wanted him to be, let's say that that's what happened. But why is there grease all over his face? Grease all over his hand and his arm in that video. Like, where does that all come from?
You know, I got my hands dirty because there was an oil can by, and I'll tell you that tomorrow.
What?
And went back and I started icing my eye, and I just kind of like fell asleep. And I woke up, and it wasn't like that when I got home. It blew up like that when I was sleeping.
Yeah, you rubbed oil in it.
All right, so there was an oil can there, and remember what he's saying here, because he's going to change his story the next day. Chad's a very bad liar because he's a dumb guy. Lying is for smart people. Guys like Chad shouldn't lie.
Consistency.
Yes, you got to be consistent with your lie. Write it down. Practice in the mirror a little bit. Chad says he went home and fell asleep. And then when he woke up, his eye had swollen up, and that's when he decided to live stream. So keep that one in mind. We'll get more information on that coming up.
Hey, remember when he was roofied and remembered every detail?
Oh, that's right.
He is a terrible liar.
He's a terrible liar. Yeah, he's like, I wasn't even drinking that much. I think someone must have drugged me. Yeah. He goes to bars and doesn't drink, this fucking guy. It's unbelievable. He's there fucking reading the Bible in the corner, and then trouble starts coming in towards his way. Like, what the fuck? What did I do?
He just walks in and people are punching him.
Yeah.
And I ran away back to my apartment. I didn't call the police. I just went home to ice my eye.
Of course
I didn't
you
think it was that
didn't.
bad.
You motherfucker, you got online and streamed before you washed your hands. You were giddy about it.
All right. So he admits there was no police report. We all knew that, obviously. No shit. And then he admits that he ran with the story that Steel Toe's biggest sponsor was behind the assault, which, when he knows he's lying, that could actually fuck with real people's real lives. Not a funny bit, right? If you accuse someone of assaulting you or being behind an assault, that's not really a bit. I don't think. I mean, I don't find it funny. I'm not a wrestling guy, but I don't know. I don't find that it's funny.
Let's ask Vinny.
Yeah, maybe Vinny would explain
Vinny, is
to
this
me
funny?
why that's a good one. So now Chad's a little bit concerned. So now this is when the truth was coming out for the first time. Mm-hmm. Everyone knew he was lying, obviously. I mean, we've talked about it here quite a bit. But now Chad has had to fucking admit it. And now he's thinking like, uh-oh, what's going to be the backlash on this?
I wonder if the people, do they feel like they wasted their time or do they feel vindicated or something?
Well, again, the only people mad about it will be, some people who donated money, I imagine, will be a little sour maybe, but maybe not, because it was such a good story arc. And then also, like,
I think
everybody hates Aaron, so who cares? Like, fuck Aaron. Like, give Chad money. I don't care.
No, they weren't giving me money. One guy Venmoed me $25, but it was just, I still got punched. So it's not like, it wasn't as brutal as I made it out to be, like they came up from behind.
Another one of the dead giveaways was when someone offered to pay your medical bills, and you were like, nah, I'm good.
I love that Chad's like, are people mad about my scam? The people who I scammed, are they mad that I scammed them? Yeah. Yes, they are. They're not too thrilled about it. Your co-hosts aren't that happy about it either. You've lost all credibility.
How much time do you think has gone by? Like,
yeah, I know, right? You guys still talking about that old thing?
Yeah, sweep it under the rug.
What an idiot.
At the end of that clip, too, it also sounded like he was getting shitty about somebody who sent him a $25 super chat. Like, hey, asshole, that guy gave you money.
Yeah.
Fucking thank him. Like, what's your problem?
He claims on the show the next day that he gave that money back, which is also a lie.
Look, after YouTube takes their cut, and he gets it on the 21st. Yeah, what kind of bullshit?
Chad was doing a emergency live stream today. I tuned in for a second, and he's talking about how much money he has in the bank, and he's saying that he could afford a house next to my house in Rochester if he wanted to buy one. It's like, why are you even talking? No one believes anything that you say. You have no credibility whatsoever, and this is a nice neighborhood. I don't think Chad could buy a house in this neighborhood. I'll be honest with you, but what do I know?
When these guys steal a credit card to go shopping at CVS,
right?
Can't really get
Dude, when you're purchasing vitamins from GNC, that's a $5 purchase with a stolen credit card, you're not doing well. No one's buying. They have money in the bank. That's a dumb thing to do. That's a dumb felony. Felonies can be dumb sometimes. Sometimes they can be smart. That one's dumb. That one's stupid. All right, this is Patrick explaining why this was so obvious that he was lying. Oh, and the other thing, too, that Patrick likes to do, he likes to play this thing because he's friends with Chad, where he's like, dude, I don't care you're lying. Dude, you think I care? I don't give a shit. Meanwhile, he's the one who fucking hired the private investigator. He put all this time into talking to the police department and checking all this shit out. It's like, it seems like you care. I don't know. I think maybe you care a little bit. But anyway, this is Melton explaining why he knew.
That's how we know. It's like, there's no way Chad's not going to show it if he's in a hospital. There's no way Chad's not waving around a bracelet or a police report. There's no way. There's no way you're not taking off your shirt if you're covered in bruises. There's no way you don't do that.
And I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked in the mirror. It just blew up. So it wasn't like that when I was like laying in bed.
And you were like, let me get my ring light.
Is Chad listening to what his friend is saying?
I know.
But I did play up the someone was outside my house because I knew I was on air and I thought it'd be funny just to go. I was in radio. We're all a bunch of hacks.
Oh, he's in. Oh, we don't get it. He was in radio.
It's a radio thing.
He thought it'd be funny to act like he was scared someone was going to beat him up. That's hilarious. What a great gag. He must have learned that in radio school. It's really impressive.
Does he not know how injuries work? He keeps bringing this up. Like, I woke up and my eye was more swollen than it was before. Yeah, no shit, dumbass.
Right.
When you get punched, it's going to look bad, but it's going to look worse the next day.
Yes, we know. And that's the thing that he likes to focus in on. He's like, guys, I really do have an eye injury. It's like, no, we know. we know about the eye injury, Chance. Everything else that you're lying about. All right, so then he goes on NLO, confesses that he was lying, and Rover's all over this. I guess Charlie from the Rover show was watching all of this unfold.
I've been spending a lot of time in the Chad verse recently, getting to know different characters. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
With the steel toe. I've been watching it. Sometimes I just watch this. If you can see this, it's a potato that talks. This is it's literally it's just a potato. And you got to watch this, and then
this is a potato this is an anti-Chad Zumock potato.
Yeah, so you got to watch. There's all these different characters, and I have to try to figure out because I don't know what anybody's talking about ever.
Yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot to unpack when you first enter into the Chad verse.
Well, especially when your introduction to it is a talking potato. I can see that being a little.
I can see that being a little bit unsettling, especially when Chad is talking to the Onion guy about a fake story and a potato's covering it. It's like, wait, what?
Corn Cob chimes in.
Yeah.
But once you get past all that, it's all smooth sailing.
You don't know corn diff? Where the fuck have you been living, Rover?
This isn't that the guy's like, oh, ha, I was pulling a prank on everyone. I thought it would be funny. It's so good. No. What happened was, none. I said, this did not happen. This is all made up. It's completely phony.
Yes.
So when push comes to shove and you have to, you now have to, oh, no, I just thought it would be great entertainment. No, you were trying to pull another scam like you did. Anyone who donated money to your stupid thing, your YouTube thing, or your whatever the hell he's posting on, and you're donating money, I'm sure he's going to issue refunds to all those people, right? Who donated, feeling sorry for him that he was assaulted and jumped. No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, see, Rover knows Chad pretty well. They go way back. Everything Chad does is a scam to get money. He wants sympathy. He wants money. He's constantly getting mugged and getting in car crashes, and all these bad things are just always happening to poor Chadwick. And when you hear this many stories, eventually you go, this is another scam. Oh, I got jumped by guys who like Anthony Cumia. Sounds like a scam. Oh, you said the same thing about Rover's guys jumping you. And then Chad's going, oh, Rover's lying about that. Why would Rover make that story up? You're the one who lies, Chad. This is one thing that Chad doesn't understand because he's such a liar. He thinks everyone's lying. No, you're the one who's lying. This show isn't a lying show. Your show is. And actually, this is a pretty funny quip from Rover here.
Chad Zumock is the George Santos of podcast hosts, I guess. Just lies about everything.
Yes. He's the George Santos of podcasters at this point. The lies are unbelievable. And then when you get caught in these lies, you have to be like, it was a bit. Do you think George Santos like, that was a pretty funny bit when I said I was Jewish? Get it?
Just doing a character.
I mean, Santos's lies are a little more entertaining than Zumock's.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. His are funnier. At least Chad doesn't pretend that he's educated. At least Chad doesn't have lies like that he has a master's degree or something. No one would buy that for a fucking second.
He's also a member of Mensa.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Stuttering John lie. Pick something believable. Idiots.
To be honest with you, that's probably a made-up story as well. He probably stumbled and fell
drinking
as a drunkard, substance abuser, and got a black eye.
The theory that's been going around now is that he was stealing a catalytic converter. He was underneath the car, getting filthy, trying to steal that for money, and then somebody came out and saw him and kicked his ass.
Yeah. Or the car fell on him. Because that guy was
just the guy that was just killed by this. We had it in the news yesterday. So that's a plausible scenario.
That's still my favorite scenario because he's all greasy. He needs money. Why not steal some catalytic converters? They can get some money for that. And Chad's defense on that is like, I had to get my neighbor to come over here to hang a mirror in my house because I'm just so inept at doing anything. Like, really? You don't know how to hang a mirror?
That's a pretty solid alibi, Carl.
Yeah, you've never heard that one before?
That's pretty fucking stupid right there.
So how can you argue with that?
Do you use the hammer method or the screw method? Oh, geez, this is too advanced for me.
Yeah.
You just hang it up, please. I don't know what to do.
Hammer?
What the fuck? He's such a fucking liar. So this is kind of funny because if you recall in that original video, Chad was being tough guy Chad. The news story is that a guy punched him and he ran away. But the first story was, and I'm going to take that same walk tonight because you're not going to stop me.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you watch an original thing, That was not trying to be funny. He was,
No, he was dead serious.
Yeah.
I thought for a second, I go, this happened.
I walk the walk.
Yeah, walk the walk. Okay.
That's pretty funny. When he's like, yeah, I walk the walk. No, you don't. You lie the lie. You're lying, sir.
You can't even joke the joke.
Who are these